Okay, so writing the first chapter of a book can be a little bit difficult because there's so many things that have to happen in there, but honestly, what needs to be there? Let's talk about it. Writing a book is so much fun. Our question today is about how to write a good first chapter. And honestly, there are a lot of ways to write a first good chapter. But the biggest thing is making sure that your reader wants to continue reading the book, because if you don't catch them at the beginning, they're not going to want to keep reading, right? So I have read a ton of first chapters just with critiquing and beta reading and different things throughout my writing journey, right? And I've also written a ton myself. And there's a couple things that you need to do right. And the biggest one is to get your hook right. You want to grab that reader and then keep them hooked so that you can reel them into the story. I have read some books where they have a really good first sentence or first paragraph, and then it kind of like fizzles out. Something's wrong, right? It hooks, and then, like, if you're thinking fishing, the fish gets away. Kind of a thing. So you gotta hook, grab, and keep them reading, which I know is a little bit of a balance. Other things that you need to make sure you do, you need to show what the world is like for your character right now. Obviously, their world is probably not perfect because they're going to need to go on a journey and improve their life or learn or grow in some way. So you need to show where things are now so that we can appreciate where they're going to be later on. You also want to have them facing some sort of issue. It doesn't have to be the main issue of the story, but you want us to start in some sort of action, something that they're dealing with, whether or not it applies to the rest of the story. So,
A really good example of an amazing beginning to a book is Holes. It is one of those where it starts the reader asking questions. They start explaining about this terrible lake area that isn't a lake, and these creatures that could kill you, and these campers, and you can't help but wonder why anyone would ever want to go to a place like that, and why you would even want to risk being bitten by a yellow spotted lizard. And before you know it, you're ready to keep going. You definitely want to find out what's going to happen in this book. Another good example is Harry Potter. They start with this man, Uncle Vernon, and how he's all weirded out by these weird people, and he's just trying to have a regular day. But then there's this secret that he has. Oh, as long as nobody knows about the Potters, everything will be okay. And you're just kind of like, well, why? Why wouldn't he want anyone to know about the Potters? And why would he be worried about somebody named Harry? And you're like, oh, this is very interesting. Which that pulls us into reading chapter 2 straight away, which is what you want. You want that first chapter to grab your reader so strong that they are ready for chapter 2. And then you need a strong chapter 2 after that.
a good example of this is Harry Potter, right? We see him kind of in a terrible world with his aunt and uncle. We see him living under a cupboard under the stairs, right? Nobody wants that. And it starts off with kind of this day of Dudley's birthday, and you know, he's not really invited, not really liked, and you just kind of see all these problems that he's dealing with right away. And that is interesting because we have problems in our own lives, and we want to feel like our problems are acknowledged, or that we have some kind of way to connect with the reader. We also want to see a hint at the story goal. We want to know where this journey is going to take us. We know that we're going to go on a journey. We know there's a lot of pages to read, and so we want a hint at what that is at the beginning of the book. Another thing that we need to show is we need to show why this particular character. There could be lots of characters that have these same experiences, the same growth, the same A world, but they need to know where this character is going and why we should care about them in particular. I'm actually going to use a TV show as an example this week because you can learn a lot from TVs and movies as well as books. So I love the TV show White Collar, and the beginning is perfect to hook you and grab you. It's because you start out in a jail and you're seeing this guy getting dressed in a guard uniform, shaving his beard, slicking his hair back, and you're like, okay, why? What's going on? It starts you asking questions. And then you see this guy walk all the way through the jail, and he looks a little nervous, but also kind of, straight-faced, and he walks straight out of the jail. And you're sitting here thinking, was that supposed to happen? And it is confirmed when he goes and hotwires a car and drives away, and he's all excited, and he's like, I just escaped from jail. And you're like, what? How? We just saw this guy escape from jail. And at that point, you're hooked, you're sold, you're ready to go for the rest of the series. So it's a really good example of a good hook and a good beginning. And if you can write something like that for your first chapter, you're golden. So there you go. I hope that you enjoyed some of those examples of what makes a really good beginning to a book. And I hope that you like and subscribe and follow for more content. Thanks so much. And I hope that you are enjoying your writing.